To chapter 2 and chapter 2 is using design view and some data validation rules. So essentially one of the big things we're going to do in this chapter is create tables again, much like we did in chapter 1 when we started a blank database, but we're going to do it within our table design view, which gives us some added features. If you recall, all we did last chapter was give a field a name. We set up how long the field could be. We maybe made it date and text or date and time, and also maybe currency as far as the format, and we did captions. We're going to do much more in this chapter, and then we're also going to get into relationships. So we're going to start with creating a blank database, and I'm going to just call mine chapter 2 practice, and I'm going to save mine to my desktop just so I know where it is, and then I'm going to create it. So this is just like what we did in the last chapter. And you can see this is in what we call a data sheet view. And now what we're going to do though is we're going to go in here and go into design view. And we're going to create a table. The first one's called equipment. Okay. And get that spelled correctly. And we are into design view. I showed this briefly to you last chapter. Now, the ID field, we're going to change, just like we did before. We're going to call this equipment ID. And we're not going to make it an auto number. We're going to make this short text, which means an auto number would automatically number it. Now we can put anything alphabetic or numeric within this. And then we could put a description in here. And it can be anything to let the user know what that field is all about. So I'm not going to do that with the rest of these as we move through the rest of our fields. So our next one is going to be product ID. And notice I use camel case as I do that with no spaces. And I'm going to make this one short text as well. And I would put a description in, but I'm going to skip it for time's sake. Okay. Next one we're going to do is category. We're going to make that short text also. And then I'll just do one because this one's a little easy type of equipment. And then we're going to do weekly rental rate, how much we're going to charge weekly. That's currency. And then we're going to do monthly rental rate. That's currency. And then date purchased will be date and time. And then comments, we're going to make this one actually long text. Okay, and we'll see how that one works in just a little bit. Okay, again, with this is very, very important to make sure that you understand that the spelling is a critical part of this, because we're going to bring an Excel spreadsheet and we're going to merge it into this or import it, and these names must be spelled correctly for that to be effective. Now, here's where we're going to add and do some of the things we did last time, like even equipment ID right now. There's the 255 characters that we were used to seeing in our ribbon. We're going to change it here. We're going to make this one 5 for our properties. We are also going to make sure down here where it says required that it's yes. That means each record we put in, you have to give it an equipment ID. Okay. Then we're going to come down here to our product ID. Let's see. I think I might have skipped one here. I'm going to put one more in here. Whoops. Sorry about that. I think I might have screwed this one up just a little bit. I did. It's not product ID, it's product name. So I'm going to just change that right up here. No big deal. Okay, make sure I save that. So for product name, what I want to do with this one, we're going to do a little bit of changes on this one. Needs to be 45 as far as the field size. And we're going to do something with the format here, and we're going to put in greater than and with brackets blue. And this does two things to everything that we type in. The greater than sign will make everything all caps, no matter how we type in the product name. So if you put in tractor, for instance, with just a capital T, it'll make the whole word capitalized. And then blue is what you might imagine. It's going to change the color of that particular field to all be blue for each particular one to make it stand out. Okay, and then we're going to go down here to category, and we're going to go down here to the field properties, which this is called down below. Only thing we're going to do here is change this to 30. Okay, and then we're going to go down to date purchased. That's the next one. We're going to change the format on this one. These all have an arrow here to the right. We're going to do a medium date. Over here on the left, you see medium date. And then it says the required property will separate several of the other fields after we add some data validation to that. So for now, we are in pretty good shape. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I'm going to double check my spelling here, and I'm going to close this because now we're going to bring some information into this. So just like last time, we're going to go and we're going to import, and this happens to be a spreadsheet that we have in our data files. So I'm going to go find this. Access chapter 2. And the one we are using is our equipment data file. And this one happens to be append again because we're going to append it to the one that we are creating. And we'll click OK, and hopefully we spelled everything correctly. There they are. We'll go next. I'm not going to save it and finish it. Okay. So when I open this up, there they are. Okay. So you'll see that the blue in all caps for this, if I resize those. Okay, category's not filled in yet, but then there's our comments, which are a lot bigger. And some of these are not done yet. We'll do those in just a little bit as we go. So if I wanted to, for instance, select any row, one of the things that I want to do is right click, and I'm going to change the row height, and I want to make these 58. Okay, that'll allow me to make this a little bit smaller, so we don't have to make that so big. The field width of the product name and comments. So another thing I could do is for the product name, I did my double click, but I could do it this way also. Make it 23. And then for comments, since I've got some height, I don't need it that big. To 26. Okay, there we go. All right. And so a couple things you can do also, like if I wanted to move this down to the next line, Control Enter on your keyboard will allow you to stay and hit return to force a word wrap. So that's some things that you would want to do as well. Okay, but that's kind of the start of it. I'm going to fill the rest of this in a little bit in number 2, but that's the start. Again, the key was making sure those field names. I want to also show you that if I went back into data sheet or design view, that for each one of these, the caption is down under our properties as well. So I could change the caption to read product space name if I wanted to. Okay, that's it for number 1. So I'm going to leave it there with you, and I will see you in just a little bit with 2-2.